I'm Kara Pogreba. Welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we're making a scene card using the Flippin Awesome die. And this is the outside in stitched rectangle in fake tan. And using the fall fling paper, this is a scalloped rectangle from the Flippin Awesome add-on. Here's the Flippin Awesome piece in rainforest cardstock, the largest square from that set in raspberry cardstock, the stitched square in white cardstock, the diagonal gift card pocket in pattern paper from Fall Fling, an add-on rectangle in fake tan, a banner in rainforest, and this little dog coordinating die from Tiny Christmas in black licorice. So there's Tiny Christmas, so we'll use those kids and the dog. This is Spooky Village, our main stamps here today, and then also this pumpkin from Pick of the Patch, the icing drizzle from How You Been Christmas cookie add-on, the welcome from Be Happy, great from Fortune Teller Tabby, and Harold's ABCs. Whew, so let's get started. I'm adhering the stitched rectangle to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 note card, and then putting on the scalloped rectangle, and that's where I'm going to put the awesome die. And here's the Flippin' Awesome die. So all you're doing is folding everything. Anytime there's a score line, you're going to fold it. And I'm reinforcing all of my folds with the bone folder. And once I have them all done one way, and you can see it's quite flexible now, but then I'm going to fold them the other way as well. And each one of those lines will get folded and it will be super flexible. So let's see that. Ooh, there it is. All right, so we've got that all done, and I'm just adhering the first square on that square part of the die cut. And then I'm going to put score tape on those 3 other areas between the folds and score tape on these 2 tabs. So those 2 tabs are the things that are going to hold this down to our card. So you really want a strong adhesive on there. The other ones between those folds, it doesn't have to be so hard, such a strong tape, but I had it and I like it, so there you go. So you just add each one of these squares where the fold line, where it meets the fold line, and there it is. It's flippin' awesome. So we flip the back part behind it, and then the tabs get folded down, and you just take the adhesive off those tabs and line up your interactive piece where you want it on the card and adhere it down just with those 2 tabs. And now watch, you pull it and there goes the flaps. Easy. I pulled it a few times just to make sure it was working well. And now I'm going to pull it all the way out, and this is the pocket that I'm putting on there, and you just fold it at the score lines. And I'm using again that 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and I'm putting it all around, taking it off, and then to put it on here, I want to tuck it inside. So I'm going to create a wedge with my scissors just so that it's easy to tuck in there. And you want it partially tucked in so that it doesn't fly all the way out when you're moving it back and forth, because otherwise it could become a stopper. And this way it's under there, it's not going to stop the motion. So there we go. And now I'm going to move it a few times to get it used to having another piece there. And this you can use as a decorative piece, but I'm cutting it a little short and putting it in as a little note card. And you could put a gift card in there too. That's kind of what it's made for. And then I'll put this banner with the sentiment at the bottom. So really the card is done except for the scenes. And my scenes are going to mimic the classic 1966 cartoon, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. So Linus is out there in the pumpkin patch, and he has his sign, Welcome Great Pumpkin. And you can see I just put the P down there instead of the whole word in letters, because I find it easy to put these letters on the door of the MISTI rather than flip the MISTI onto all those little letters. But look, they all come down perfectly together. because that's the way these letters work for and the words with the lawn fawn pieces. All right, so here's our big pumpkin, and I created a mask just by putting that on some post-it note, and we need some little pumpkins in the background because it's the pumpkin patch. And so a few more, and then I'm going to also mask these. I didn't mask all the little uh, curly cues that go along, just the pumpkins. So now Linus can be standing behind the pumpkins because they're masked, and I'm inking everything up with the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. It is Copic friendly and it's a nice black crisp ink. So I'm putting a little fence in there from Spooky Village to kind of define our pumpkin patch. And now here's his friends. They are going to have nothing to do with Linus and his idea of waiting in the pumpkin patch. They are ready to go trick-or-treating and then off to their Halloween party. So I'm partially inking up part of that because I want to squish those kids together a little bit more. So I'm going to put Candy Corn Kid here a little closer to the witch. Now, on the movie or the cartoon, it was made for TV cartoon, it has two witches in there. I think Marcy is a witch and Lucy is a witch. Um, but I love this Candy Corn Kid, so we got to keep that. So I am putting just a rectangle around this the words so that I can create a sign for Linus to be holding. This is kind of the way it looks in the main advertisement for this TV show, this special cartoon. And then Linus has stripes on his shirt, and then this is Charlie Brown, and he put too many holes in his costume. So he kind of looks like, I don't know, more like a potato than a ghost. But I just color everything one coat. There's no real shading here. It's kind of more like the cartoon version, so I didn't put any special shading. Now this is Lucy. She was wearing the witch costume, and she had a red hat and a green mask and a black wig and a white costume. So that's what she is. And I think I like this Copic marker better than the multi-liner for making those dots on Charlie Brown's ghost costume. They all had paper brown bags, brown paper bags. So that's what I gave them. And if you've seen Linus, his hair is really like 10 strands of hair in a kind of a bad comb over, but I wanted to give him real hair. So he's just kept the hair that is on our image here from Lawn Fawn. All right, and just for the leaves in the pumpkin patch, I'm making dots in two different colors and the stems and the leaves on the pumpkins as well. Oh, gotta get Candy Corn Kid is yellow. So then I'm gonna put BG10 for the sky. And at this point of the day, it's still light outside. So that's why we have the nice blue sky, putting a little shading. Now here I did put a little detail on the sign. I just wanted it to look like a wood sign. So not too much, just a few faint lines in a light Copic cool gray. And we're ready to put on our first scene. So I just put some adhesive on the back and put that on there. And we're ready for the second. Now, those kids went out trick-or-treating, and in my mind, I can only hear that jazz music that goes along with this cartoon. So it's kind of running through my head. But they're out in the evening. It's dark now. The moon is out, but you see clouds in the sky. It's so cool how much this Spooky Village reminds me of that cartoon because it has a lot of the things that are very similar to what you saw in that cartoon. Okay, so putting the kids out there, and there were a couple of extra ghosts. Now this is Pigpen. The poor kid, he like had a cloud of dust around him all wherever he went because he was so dirty. And they called him Pigpen. But the cartoon was shown where he had these black lines drawn around his ghost costume to indicate his dirt, and then also the pillows or the puffs of dirt around the bottom there. Now, there was a ghost on this house, and I didn't want to keep that ghost in there because I wanted to not let that be a distraction to the main characters, which are the trick-or-treaters here. And everything, like I said, is just getting colored, and there's not much to see there. But now I'm giving them a sidewalk, and in the movie, it is blue. So I thought I'd stick with that, kind of a um, blue to a blue-green, and I'm keeping that look as well. Each time these kids went from house to house, they would stop and look at what they got, and they would all, announce their candy that was in their bag, except that Charlie Brown always got a rock. Now, who does that? I mean, this is okay, it was 1960. No, I don't even think for 1966. Nobody would give a kid a rock. But, that's Charlie Brown's life. He was always kind of that kid. So I'm coloring the grass, and I left a little area for the sidewalk to get up to the houses because they needed a way to get there without walking on the grass. And I was using a darker green because it's night, so I'm trying to set that scene. Now, in the cartoon, there was this kind of brown background to it, and so I'm putting that in there. I'm calling it a backyard fence, and then I'm going to gray it up with this cool gray 4 and go up into the sky with that, and then end up with the C2 as well. And the sky, I want to blue it up a bit. First of all, I just want to kind of brighten the look of this. And in the cartoon, the background, it looks like it was watercolor background. It's kind of interesting when you look at these things with an eye for design rather than as a kid just watching the show. So I did not want to watercolor the backgrounds, but I wanted to give it a little extra look of interest. So, second one done. There they are, trick-or-treating. And we're on to the third scene. Now we're back in the pumpkin patch, and I'm just taking these little pumpkins and I'm moving my paper around to get them in different areas. I masked this one off so that it can overlay there. And then I'll put another mask on because this is where we're going to put our characters. This is Sally. This is Charlie Brown's little sister. And Linus convinced her, she's the youngest one, and also she's smitten with Linus, but he convinced her that she should wait out in that pumpkin patch for the great pumpkin to come. And so they're out there together, and this is, I needed to create a large moon here. So I just took a pencil and drew around that balloon. It was round, so that gave me the circle, and I'm coloring not just up to the pencil line so that I can erase the marks without, if you put Copic over a pencil line, it will stay. So, and then we're putting in some darker colors, again, this dark green, because it's night, and so I wanted to make it look a little darker. And back to the details, he's got his striped shirt that's red, and Sally, she wears this little dress, and it's got a Peter Pan collar and a little waistband, and it's a blue dress. So here's her blue dress, and she also has some black polka dots on it. I'll get to that. But she also has yellow hair. I mean yellow. It's not blonde. It's cartoon yellow. So I gave her that yellow hair. I'm putting on the polka dots on her dress. And so that's Sally. But this kid, she kind of looks more like a young Drew Barrymore. I think she's so cute. But like in E.T. I don't know. Anyway, back to Sally. She has the look of surprise on her face because they see the great pumpkin. Out from the pumpkins arises the great pumpkin. Whoever that is, I don't even know. But anyway, Linus is so happy. He is smiling, but she's like, oh. So they're seeing this great pumpkin, and here's our final scene. Now, the moon is further away. We're still in the pumpkin patch. Linus has fainted. He's on the ground. Sally is still staring at what looked like the great pumpkin, but in actuality, it was Snoopy. Now, Snoopy is the main character in this. I mean, besides Charlie Brown, it's Snoopy who's the main character in the Peanuts. So we're just coloring them all up here. Now, Snoopy, he has this little black spot on his back and black ears. So we've got to put that on there. And it's Halloween. He's dressed up like the Red Baron. I don't know. Anyway, they have this whole Red Baron part of the show for him. But he's got a little helmet on that's green, and he even has goggles on, but you know, let's be real here. So we're going to give Sally that look of surprise, but right now she's more upset that this is just Snoopy. This is her dog and not the Great Pumpkin. But meanwhile, back to Linus. In classic cartoon style, he has these lines above his head that kind of indicate that he has fainted. And the Christmas cookie, How You Been add-on, it's so funny how well that just kind of reflected that look. So this is from the Spooky Village. This is the sentiment I've gone with. And with both of these, I inked them up in lawnfawn clear ink, and I am using the lawnfawn white embossing powder, and I'll heat emboss both of those pieces, the sentiment and Linus's dizziness, and adhered that, and we put that in our book and adhered the sentiment with some double-sided tape and adhered that, and we are all set. So back to the beginning. There's our scenes. Well, I hope this inspired you today to think of a story or something that would be fun to tell in the way of the Flippin Awesome die. Here's a look now at each of the scenes. I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Bye.